Have you ever found yourself in a one-sided conversation with your cat? You share your secrets, complain about your day, or ask them for the 10th time if they're hungry, and they just sit there, staring back with those unblinking, all-knowing eyes. It feels like they're holding on to a secret about the universe. But what is really happening inside their feline minds? Today, we're exploring the science, the emotion, and the profound connection behind one of nature's most intimate relationships. This is what your cat is actually thinking when you speak, and what it reveals about you. Before we dive in, let me be clear, this isn't just another video. This is for you, the person who has felt that spark of connection in a slow blink or the gentle pressure of their head against your hand. If that's you, you know what to do. Hit that like button and subscribe, not for our sake, but to affirm that this kind of bond deserves to be explored. Let's create a community for those of us who see our cats not just as pets, but as family. Prepare yourself, because what you're about to learn will change the way you talk to your cat forever. The melody of your voice. Let's start with the moment you speak. When the sound of your voice fills the space, your cat doesn't process it like a human would. To them, language isn't about individual words, sentences, or syntax. It's about the music behind the words, the rhythm, the energy, the emotional vibration. Think of your voice not as speech, but as a current of feeling flowing through the room. So can they even recognize your voice? Absolutely, but they specialize in one key aspect: prosody. That's the emotional musical quality of speech. Studies confirm that cats are highly sensitive to the melody of your mood, not the meaning of your words. Your voice acts as a signal, a pulse in their environment that communicates safety, joy, tension, or love. This is why you can say, "I love you," in a flat, monotone voice and get no reaction, but whisper sweet nonsense and have them purring and rubbing against your legs. It's not what you say, it's the feeling you infuse into the sound, and their hearing is extraordinary. Cats can perceive frequencies up to 64,000 hertz, nearly 3 times higher than our own range. They hear the subtle crackle of a leaf, the whisper of fabric, the squeak of your shoes on the floor. When you talk, they don't just hear you. They absorb the entire sonic landscape of your presence. Every slight shift in your tone, every pause, the tension in your breath, it all becomes part of the symphony they use to map your emotional state. To them, your voice is a pattern, and once they learn it, they never forget. Cats possess what scientists call associative long-term memory. They don't just live in the now, they archive moments that carry emotional weight. Every time you speak with kindness and calm, you are weaving a thread of safety into their memory, creating a permanent library where the sound of your love resides. The symphony of your presence when you walk in and call out, "Hey, I'm home!" Your cat may not comprehend the sentence, but their ears twitch and their tail might flick. Why? Because that specific sound with its unique tone is filed away in their mind. It's stored alongside the scent of your clothes, the rhythm of your footsteps, and the time of day you always return. It's a symphony of context, and your voice is the leading instrument. Fascinating research shows that cats can reliably distinguish their owner's voice from a stranger's. In one study, cats listened to recordings of different people saying the same phrase. While they largely ignored unfamiliar voices, they consistently oriented themselves toward the sound of their human, even without their name being called. Your cat knows you by your unique sonic signature. They don't think of you with a name or a job. They feel you. Your voice is their internal weather system. A change in your tone is like a sudden shift in barometric pressure, impossible to ignore. This means when you communicate, your words are secondary to your intention. Your syntax is irrelevant, but your emotional state is everything. Imagine your cat is dozing in a sunbeam and you whisper, "You're such a good kitty." To them, that sound isn't a compliment. It's a wave of pure safety. The melody of your affection confirms that their world is secure and peaceful. Now imagine you raise your voice in frustration, not at them, but at your phone. Your cat instantly bolts. They didn't understand what you said, but they felt the disturbance. To a cat, your voice is the climate, and they are masters at sensing approaching storms. You are their emotional barometer. You hold the power to soothe or stress them simply by the way you exist in a space, loudly or softly. Even more, some researchers believe cats learn to mimic our sounds, not with words, but with intonation. Has your cat ever developed a specific meow just for when they want food, or a soft chirp to greet you? That's not random. It's adaptation. They are learning your language not to speak it, but to harmonize with it. It's a delicate dance of sound that proves they are deeply attuned to you, even if they don't grasp your vocabulary. The unspoken conversation, while you're telling your cat about your day, they aren't just listening. They're memorizing the emotional data. They are building a library of you, one vocal pattern at a time. Your voice defines the very boundaries of their world. When you laugh, they feel expansiveness. When you whisper, they settle. And when you cry, they often draw near, not because they know why you're sad, but because they know the signal of your world has been disrupted. So, what do they think? They think, this is the sound of my home. This is the presence I trust. But there are rare, powerful moments when your cat doesn't just listen. They answer. And it's not a meow. It's something far more profound. You feel it more than you see it. Your cat turns to you, their eyes soften, and they blink slowly, deliberately. It's a rhythmic, patient gesture. In that instant, you've been answered. This isn't just a reflex. It's a dialogue on a different frequency. To understand it, you have to learn their language, a silent, intuitive expression that starts with the eyes. In the wild, silence is survival. Cats evolved a sophisticated language of glances, postures, and stillness. That slow blink is not a sign of sleepiness. It's the ultimate expression of trust and affection. In feline communication, it's the equivalent of a whispered, "I am at peace with you." When you speak softly and they respond with a slow blink, they are mirroring your calm energy and telling you they feel completely safe. Their body is a map of their thoughts. When you speak, their ears pivot, their tail sways, each movement is a response. They read your body language, your tone, and your energy as a complete sentence. If you move gently, they relax. If you are agitated, they retreat. To a cat, how you exist in a room is more important than what you do. They are emotional meteorologists, sensing tension like an approaching storm and affection like the warmth of the sun. The more consistent you are, the deeper their trust grows. You become their lighthouse, a fixed, reassuring point in their world. They speak back through touch as well. A gentle headbutt isn't just a nudge. It's an act of marking you with their scent, declaring you as family. When they rub against your legs, they are sealing the conversation with a physical affirmation. Even shared silence is dialogue. When you sit quietly together and they glance at you, then lean in just enough for their fur to touch yours, that is a conversation. It says, "I am with you." No more words are needed. The empathy of stillness. Many people assume that when a cat seems to ignore them, it's a sign of apathy. But what if that stillness is actually a form of deep understanding? For a cat, silence is not an empty void. It's a message. It's a calm, steady presence that says, "I am here. I hear you. My peace is my response." Their communication is more like jazz than a military march. Fluid, subtle, and deeply personal. The more you speak to them with kindness, the more they respond with presence. They greet you at the door, follow you between rooms, and tune into the quiet shifts in your emotional state. They begin to know when you're about to speak before you even open your mouth. That's not psychic ability. It's profound emotional intelligence. This connection reaches its peak in moments of unspoken empathy. You've probably experienced it. You were feeling down, lost in thought, and you spoke your feelings into the empty room. Your cat was there. They didn't meow or make a grand gesture. They simply moved closer, or stayed still, or curled up beside you when they normally wouldn't. It wasn't random. It was a response. This is the moment a cat stops being an observer and enters your emotional space with you. Cats don't express empathy like dogs do, with licks and whines. Their loyalty is subtle and soulful. Ask anyone who has gone through grief with a cat by their side. They will tell you the comfort is real. Cats have a way of showing up when it matters, not to fix the problem, but simply to be with you, to hold space. This is called attunement. The ability to sense and respond to another's emotional state. Cats are masters of it. To your cat, you are a living memory. Your routines, habits, and the sound of your footsteps are etched into their internal map. When that pattern is disrupted, when you sigh instead of hum, when you sit motionless on the couch, they notice. Their response is a feline form of compassion, holding stillness as an act of loyalty. They are emotional mirrors, reflecting what they sense from you. That's why a cat will often sit beside someone who is grieving or refuse to leave the side of a sick owner. They feel your pain because your emotional world is their environment. The anecdotes are countless. The widow whose aloof cat suddenly began sleeping on her chest every night for the 6 months after her husband passed, only stopping when her grief began to lift. The anxious girl whose cat would interrupt her crying spells by lying directly on her homework and staring into her eyes. These cats weren't being disobedient. They were speaking without words. So when we ask what our cats think when we talk to them, perhaps the real question is what they're saying when they sit with us in our silence. Their love language isn't tricks or noise. It's presence. The quiet, chosen kind that anchors you when your world is spinning. In those moments, their thoughts are simple. This is the one I trust. This is the sound I know. This is where I belong. And you realize that all those times you've spoken to them, they haven't just been listening. They've been answering you all along, in the only language that truly matters. Hey, the cat said if you don't like and subscribe, they'll knock something off your table. Don't risk it. Hit that button.